think it's a smell strip show, dance show.
We're there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Live.
Well,
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, say goodbye to The Simpsons, and did the stars in the galaxy kill Kobe Bryant, and why do men relive their glory days more than women do, and I have a plan to stop racism by at least 30%. All this and much, much more will be discussed here on DeaconLive. How are you? How are you? What's going on? How's everything going? I got to switch the camera angles now because I got, as you heard, we got a new opening, new intro, and so you can follow us on our Facebook feed, and actually, you know what? Do me a favor, go to prophets.com, PROPHET radio, and you can see all the videos and stuff. We do a weekly podcast, kind of catch you up with everything, and then there's also a video, 1 hour video that goes along, coincides with it. You see a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and I say behind the scenes stuff, it's not like we got strippers and dancers and everything jumping around in the background, but when I talk about an article or show you a picture or talk about a picture, you can see it in real time if you're watching the video. And I found out it's a great way when you're on the treadmill and you just want to time 60 minutes, put one of the podcast videos on, and you can watch it right there on your little smartphone. If you go to like Planet Fitness, they got the free Wi-Fi and stuff. So how are you? I've established that you guys are doing okay. I'm doing all right. I'm doing well. Right now it is it's raining out there. Every week I got to move this thing because people come in here and move this microphone around. Is that better? Can you hear me better? So it's raining out there. It was snowing earlier. And you say, well, Deacon, where are you located? Well, we are located in Marshville, which is a beautiful town just outside the Queen City, which is Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was I think 37 this morning and projected rain and stuff. And I went out to do my daily chores and, driving the truck around and stop by Publix. Yes, we do have a Publix here, and I'll get into that discussion here in a little bit, what the cashier had to say to me. And, driving around, and it started, a nice little ice flake. I don't know. I'm not from North Carolina. I'm a Florida boy. What do they call it? Like a little piece of ice? Sleet. Is it sleet? Just a little piece. In Florida, we call it hail. It comes right down. It's either rain, wind, or hail. There's no in between. There's no snow, which I understand. I guess last week they did actually have snow in Florida. It got really, really cold down there. Lizards are falling out of the tree. It's so cold. Yes, they're reptilian. They're falling out of the trees. But here, I guess, little ice crystals are bouncing off the glass. And all of a sudden now I see these literally like little flakes, little, now nothing stuck to the ground, but little about the size of a nickel, little snowflakes falling on the ground. So I'm driving around and I'm like, oh shit, it's freaking cold out, and trying to get back to the house before the rain completely soaks everything. And my truck at the time right now doesn't really have the best tires. I think they got about 50,000 miles on them. I'm about due for a change in my tires, which is not an expense that I'm looking to do. So. Now, one thing, I was talking about driving around here in the beautiful town of Marshville. I listen to numerous podcasts. You always got to stay on top of who your challenges are, who's your competition. Not that I'm a threat to anyone, but I steal a little bit from this person and a little bit from this show and a little bit from that. But one thing I really do miss living in Florida. Now, for those of you who are just tuning us in for the first time, I'm born and raised in Orlando, Florida, on several different radio stations down there. And one of the stations that I really, really liked was 540 WFLA, because 540 WFLA, which is an AM station, was the heartbeat of Central Florida. It was the home of the Magic. They played the Magic games on there. It was hometown people doing the shows. Hey, watch out for this on I-4 and watch out for this on the East-West Expressway, and all that stuff that hometown radio is. Now, here in Marshville, I was tuning through the AM dial. Normally, I listen to the national broadcast. There's a national broadcast on the AM dial. They're affiliated I'm not going to get into the details as far as how radio works. You guys know how radio works. But there is a small town or a small radio station in this town. It's got it's 5,000 watts. For those old timers out there in the Orlando area, it's the equivalent of what 580 WDBO used to be. I know I'm getting every town's got one of these stations. These little, like, they're really, really low on the dial, and they always play like like the Christian music. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but those are the type of stations that you hear on the low end dials, the 5,000 watt radio stations. I came across this one station, and the radio station is 1190 the Wikis or something like that. I would have done a little bit more research, but I came across them, and it was funny. It was a crystal clear signal. Now, I found out that they have a 5,000 watt station, and it reaches out about maybe 50 to 75 miles from its locations. But I'm in the heart of it. I found out it's literally like 20 minutes down the road. I said, well, let's see what these guys are talking about. And I'm listening. Now, for most of our listeners that download the podcast, and believe me, we appreciate every listener. We appreciate every one of you. We really do. There's the small markets. When I say small, I mean Marshville we live in has a population of, I think, 1,500 people. So I'm talking small. There was always, growing up in big cities and stuff, they always made fun of or talked about, when people would call in, hey, I'm looking for a, what am I trying to say here? I'm looking for a Jeep Cherokee with low miles on it. And, the host would go, what do you think this is? Some kind of swap shop? And you'd hang up on them. We're not doing that. Then I found this station, 1190, the Wikis. And it literally was that. The guy was crystal clear. He had a nice southern drawl. His name was Shane. And he's like, go ahead, caller, you're on the air. I'm looking for a 1985 or 80, I'll take an 84. I'm looking for a 1985, 84 Firebird Trans Am. Now, I don't need the black one, but I want the bird on top of it. All right? And Shane, the host of the show, writes, and what's your name? Miranda. All right, Miranda, and what's your phone number? 704, blah, 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 whatever the phone number is. All right, thank you. Go ahead, caller, you're on the air. Or it wasn't even caller, you're on the air. He would pick up the phone like he's answering it at home. Hey, what's going on? I'm looking for a lawnmower. And they go on, and each call, it was called the swap shop. It literally was, thanks for calling the swap shop. But it was this hometown radio, and it was so fun to listen to because one guy got on there, and he's like going, I got an old race car I'm selling. I'll part it out for you. We don't need it anymore. And it's not doing, the driver's not doing very well. He's got something wrong with his leg and stuff. So we're just parting the thing out. And they went into the whole detail as far as what the car was and what he was selling off the car. And I got a trailer and a couple tires, semi-slicks and all the stuff that goes with the race car and like a fireproof suit and stuff. All right, what's your name? John. All right, John, what's your number? 980, blah, 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 blah. And then he'd hang up and go on to the next call. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. There's a whole story behind that guy's call. There's a whole story behind, he has a race car. Now, you've seen it out in Bithlo in Central Florida, and every little town's got a track. We're going down the track. We're taking our turn and burn down the track. Bring your grandma's car, I think they have it some places. In New Smyrna, that speedway down there, they've got a name for themselves. I think Tony Stewart was down there one time, tearing it up. But, so this guy has a race car. Now, we don't know. I don't know who John is. I don't know what, and I wanted to know more. I wanted to know a little bit more. So I actually took some time, sat down, and wrote the program director who actually owns the station, who actually has a morning talk show on that same station. You see where I'm going? That's how small this radio station was. So I kind of wrote him an email and say, hey, love the show, found it on the dial, blah, 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 gave him a whole background. I'm like, it was really, really great and fun to listen to your show. Keep up the good work. I would love to come out and look at the studio and see what you guys are messing with. So I sent that a couple days ago, and I'll let you know. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I'll let you know what the response is, even if I get a response. I looked at their Facebook page. They had over 5,000 followers, which is that's pretty good numbers. You know, Deacon does about that as far as Facebook followings and stuff. So I'm excited. I want to go down there. It's a local. It's like going to if you're a movie star. Not that I'm a movie star or anything, but you performed on so many different levels, and then like the local church community acting group wants you to do measure to measure, or not measure to measure. What's the Shakespeare show, Measure to Measure, or any of the Shakespeare, Macbeth or whatever. You would be honored. You would be honored to go down and do that for this small community, because you get back to your roots. You get back to what actually created the interest and the love that you have for broadcasts or anything like that. So enough about me. We'll get to you here in a little bit. And I want you to know, make sure you follow us on Facebook and all that stuff. You go to profitradio.com, and don't forget to like one of our main subscribers here, the subscribers, sponsors of the show, Real American Deals. And all you have to do is go to Facebook and search for Real American Deals. They got some crazy stuff up there. I saw some Trump socks, a pair of Trump socks with his face on it and stuff, and some bumper stickers. And there's some great stuff. There's how to build a barbecue smoker without having a weld or anything. So that's located up there on the Real American Deals, located on Facebook. So when we come back, we're going to get into the show, and should be fun. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Always hate the first segment. 11 minutes, not bad. Welcome back to Deacon Live. My name is the Deacon. Give us a call here at the station at 407-448-8800. You can text us anytime at the Queen City studio, located just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in a beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. Make sure you follow us on our social network pages, our Twitter, our Facebook. And the way you do that is go to profitradio.com, click on the social networks, and you can see all that. And don't forget to like our friends over at the Real American Deals. Everything comes out of, it's brought to you by a company out of Kansas City, Missouri. And they got some great deals on a bunch of stuff that you normally don't find in stores, services, goods, and kind of neat things that they have out there. And make sure you find them at Real American Deals on Facebook. So I'm saying I was driving around in my truck and searching through the dial, and I came across 1190, the wikis, or so. I'm going to find out what the actual thing is here in a little bit. But one thing, the reason why I was searching for something to listen to other than like regular music. Now, granted, all the music that you hear on the Deacon Live and between the breaks and stuff is brought to you by Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio, and they bring us all the break music and stuff, and that's the music that they play on the station as well. So if you want that cutting edge, the new rock, the stuff you don't hear all the time, the old rock, even B-sides, C-sides, full album lengths, it's all available on Prophet Radio. Now, I like, when I'm driving around, I can't stand the rock and roll music today. Back in my day. But no, I mean, most of it's not even real don't get me started on that. But I like to listen to like country music. I like to listen to, I'll turn it over to the other dial just to see what's playing on the rock station. Classic rock is always going to be classic rock. There's a formula that every program director punches in. If this song has charted so many times in so many markets and, did this and sold this many records, boom, that gets put in the rotation. That's why you always hear like the Van Halen songs, the same 5 Van Halen songs, the same 4 Aerosmith songs, the same, I think I heard Pearl Jam on there a couple times on the classic rock station. Boy, did I feel old on that one. But I wanted to catch up on the country music. So about at the beginning of the year, because we're wrapping up January right now. At the beginning of the year, I said, well, let's listen to some country music and see what that market's doing and how that's going. So I was listening to it and driving around. I'm like, all right, I like the song. This is new. I like this one. This is new. I like this. Oh, here's a couple years ago, I like that one. And then kind of let it be. Turn the vehicle off, come in the house. I always listen to news in the house. I really don't listen to music in the house or even when I'm doing the lawn. It's podcasts, documentary, that type stuff. So the other day when I was driving the truck around, I said, well, let's pop on the old country station and see what's going on. Popped on the country station, listened to it. Not one single song that they played was the same song that I heard 30 days ago. The whole rotation's changed. And that's the way, like, the market and the way we consume music. You know, you could listen to like 4 or 5 songs on the first of the month. By the end of the month, those songs are gone. They're not even on the playlist anymore. Not that they were bad or anything, but the way we, like I said, consume music, they push it. The radio stations are the small part of a funnel. And what's happening is you've got all these different avenues and venues and sources that are just pushing all their music and all their artists and everything just down into that funnel, and only so much can come out of that funnel at any given time. So I was listening to the country station, and I'm like, out of the whole 45 minutes, I think I recognized 2 songs that were older songs, and maybe 4 songs from what I heard 30 days ago. Outside of that, everything was completely different. So that's when I went over to the AM dial. I'm like, there's got to be a local radio station here. So I found it and stuff. But one thing, I was talking about the market and how the top of the funnel is the markets and the record labels and stuff, and the bottom of the funnel is radio and how we consume radio. Now, there's other ways to consume audio. I mean, there's iHeartRadio, which we appreciate very much, and Spotify and Pandora. Is Pandora still floating around out there? I don't know if they're doing anything anymore. But one thing that I came across, I said I like documentaries, and I like watching documentaries. I like to know about what's going on, especially things that are going on currently at the time, whether it be politics, whether it be social, whether it be just general life. One thing I love is sports documentaries. I always have a hard time saying that word. Documentaries, there's the word. Documentaries or music. You like to know where, when someone starts out small and at what point did they decided or they realized that they were getting big. Now, I said at the beginning of the program that I figured out a way to reduce racism by 30%. Now, hear me out here. There's a show on Netflix that kind of gives you a background history. Anytime you can learn about history or learn about where someone comes from, it always helps you to understand where they come from and where they are now. For example, the people of, I don't know. But anyways, just in general, if you find it, like your worst enemy, if you found out that his dad and mom beat him growing up, you kind of go, okay, well, he's a nice guy. I mean, he's just taking it out on me. That's a horrible example, but you get the gist. If you find out where someone comes from, you can understand where they're going. And I say that to say this because the 4th season of this, I gotta get things straight here. The 4th season of this show on Netflix came out, and I loved the first 3 seasons. I loved, and the 4th season coming out. And let me see if I can find it. This is it right here.
My fingers on the vinyl. I let it go, stopped it. But the taboo thing was you're not supposed to touch the middle of the vinyl.
This is the birthplace where it all began.
Watch me now. Feel the groove.
How the crowds respond when you do it.
Crazy, man. Stop it, man.
They had this incredible sound system.
You never see nothing like it. It's the next generation ushering in a new idea.
Hold up. You're taking this rock rap thing too far.
Something had to be able to give upward motion and strength and pride. You got words, you got a voice. Use it.
6 a.m, police at my door.
I can't just live the game. I got to document the game.
You know what make me feel real good today? Putting you in jail.
Everybody was like, you ready to grapple with these sheriffs and LAPD around here? You ready to do that? And I'm like, man, we got to do something.
I just remember the FBI going, "You can't rap this." Yeah, we can. Like, we gonna stop us?
DJs, the best you heard.
Zulu Nation, MC, and Hustlers, Struggle,
Generation,
Gangs,
music,
Pioneer,
record, hip-hop. And the rest is history.
So this is Hip Hop Evolution, which is a series on Netflix, and I love it. I not that I'm a hip hop fan, I appreciate that music, just being a music lover in general. Now, the gangster rap was coming out like when I was in high school, and I liked it because it was angry. It was I was a teenage kid, and I was like going, I wanted something angry. I was listening to punk rock music. I was listening to heavy metal music, and I say heavy metal like thrash metal, and not the, one guy said, "Oh, you like heavy metal?" Yeah. "Oh, I like Van Halen too." Get the fuck out of here, you fucking queer. Anyway, so I would listen to like NWA. I'd listen to Scarface. I'd listen to all that stuff, but that's just a small snippet of where this whole entire genre came from. And Netflix does a really, really good portrayal discussion as far as the evolution of where hip hop came from the sampling and the turntables and the beats and stuff. And if you watch all 4 seasons, I have a huge appreciation. I already had an appreciation for that genre in itself, but I mean just a huge, where did that come from and how did they get to this? And my producer type background is, I wanted to learn all that stuff. So if you got a chance, if you're just familiar with any of that music at all, look at it. And I'm not doing my movie reviews now, but I think if you listen to that and then you hear it out in your everyday life, you can kind of go, hey, we all came from something, and something came from nothing. And I just think that maybe that would lighten up on some racism. Maybe that's what it is. Hey, you don't understand where I'm coming from. Well, I don't understand where you're coming from, but I understand that music is a collective energy that we all share and appreciate. And if I understand where your music's coming from, I can understand you just a little bit more. So that's it. I mean, it's a small peg it's a small rung on the ladder to achieve equalness and appreciation or fighting racism in any form whatsoever. So that was it. That was my my version on that. When we come back, we're going to get into more of the show. And one of the things that is going away has been around for over 31 seasons, and they're saying that it might go away now because is it the conglomerate? Are they at the bottom of the funnel and the funnel is run dry? So stick around. We'll get into that here in just one sec. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You can give us a call here at the station at 407-448-8800. You can text us on anytime at that same number. And you can follow us throughout our social networks by going to prophetradio.com. And you can hear all the great music that Prophet Radio gives us in between our breaks. And also make sure you like Real American Deals. You can see they've got a Real Deals section on the Prophet Radio website page that you can see the updated list of everything that they got going on. So check it out and like them on Facebook. There's a little click on like, or a little like thumbs up thing to click. Make sure you like them on Facebook. So I was saying that I was driving around and I went to, was listening to the radio and the stations and came across the one local channel. Now, the reason why I was driving around is because I went to Walmart. We're getting ready to get into our vehicle inspections, and I was one of the headlights. And it's so funny because I've had vehicles, of course, living in Florida all my life. I've had vehicles on top of vehicles on top of vehicles my whole entire life living in Florida, of course. And so since I moved up here, I've only had one vehicle. I had the truck, my Chevy Silverado truck, 2012, that I bought in Florida and moved up here in 2014. Now, since I've moved up here to the Queen City, I have replaced the headlight light bulbs at least 5 or 6 times. It's the cold weather. It's the hot, then the cold, and the cold, and then the hot. And for whatever reason, the light bulbs just don't hold up on this Chevy Silverado. And I'm not the only one. Everyone drives around with one light bulb missing or out or whatever. So to get into it, I'm not paying someone to get in there and change the light bulbs. You're like, well, Deacon, that's easy to do. No, not the way that this truck is made. There's so much metal and hoses and stuff in the way you physically can't get your hand in there. So I have to completely dismantle the front of the truck just to get the goddamn light bulbs out. So of course, I don't want to dismantle the truck because then I have nothing to drive to the store to get the light bulbs. So I look online, headlight for this and headlamp, high beam, low beam, and it gives you the number, and you go down there and you grab the light bulb from the store and you come back and then you dismantle it and you realize, shit, it's the wrong damn light bulb. Now I don't take it out of the package, so I go back down to the Walmart and I don't keep receipts. Walmart's kind of one of those places like, though I don't want to say they're trusting, but they really can't say, no, we can't let you bring that back. I'm like, well, all right, manager, I want to talk to a manager right now. So anyways, I brought these light bulbs back, and I've worked retail for many years, and I know the high theft items, and these halogen, whatever they are, the lamps for the truck, a set of two, because I want to buy the twin pack because the other one's going to go out here soon. A set of two of them is like $40, and they keep them locked up. And here's the thing. Sir, can I help you? Yes, I need to get these light bulbs. Okay, he unlocks the case, hands me the light bulbs. I said, well, do you want me, I'm back in the automotive section. Do you want me to pay for them here? No, just take them up front. Okay, no problem. All right, we're good. Walk up front, pay for them, go home, open the things up, open the lights up. They're not the same ones. God damn it. Put the thing back together, get in the truck, drive back up there. Now, here I am, driving back up there. If you're looking me out or watching the video here, on the Prophet Radio DeaconLive site, I'm still unshaven. My hair is in between. It might need to be cut or it doesn't need to be cut, but I'm in that. But I've been working out on the truck all day. I say all day, a couple hours. So I go in and there's a lady behind the counter, and I was talking about race, a black lady behind the counter. And so I put the light bulbs up there, and I'm covered in, grease, because I had to take some hoses off and put them back together. My fingers are all chewed up, and she's like, do you have a receipt, sir? And looking around, do you have, here we go, and smacking her lips and chewing the gum. Do you have a receipt for these light bulbs? And I go, no. I said, they're not the right ones, and I don't have the receipt. I threw it away or whatever the case may be. Well, we can't take these back without a receipt. I'm like, is there something we can do? And I felt threatened. I felt judged. I felt like she was looking at me saying, oh, you don't look like you need these type of light bulbs. You know what I'm saying? So I felt kind of put off. I was like, oh yeah? She's like, did you buy these on a card? I'm like, yes. And guess what? I have the card right here. And look, there's my name and here's my license and everything looks and matches. And fine. Like I was doing her a favor by pulling this stuff out of my wallet. So anyways, it just kind of pissed me off a little bit, giving me attitude. Who does she think well, I'm not going to get into who she thinks she is or who I am. But I just saw that sign. I was like going, oh, man, sorry. All right, sorry about that. My bad. I tried to make everything all nice and neat and friendly and stuff. Something that's going away, and I wish that would go away. Something that might be going away, if you're not familiar with it, is they're talking about this show. Let me switch screens here. You would think a show that's been on for over 31 seasons has been doing things right? No? Well, here you go.
Soon, we're in the 31st season. That doesn't happen. This isn't normal. Things have changed, though, because news began spreading around that the beloved Fox cartoon would be coming to an end relatively soon. What? That's impossible. This is The Simpsons. They don't die, right? Let's talk about what this all means and if it's even true. Over the past week, a bunch of different articles have spawned, revealing that The Simpsons could very well end soon. The source is Danny Elfman, a name you may not recognize at first glance, but he actually created The Simpsons theme song.
Now, Danny Elfman, for those diehards out there, is actually the lead singer of Oingo Boingo. He's the one who did the whole, Dead Man's Party. That's Danny Elfman, and he's been doing The Simpsons since the birth of The Simpsons.
In an exclusive Joe article, here's what was said. Well, from what I've heard, it is coming to an end. I don't know for a fact, but I've heard that it will be in its last year. We told him that we were surprised to hear that, and he said that he could be wrong, before going on to talk about how he never expected The Simpsons to run for as long as it did. This single quote in the article is why everyone on the internet's now believing that The Simpsons is coming to an end. However, if you're a fan of the show, then you don't have to worry. It's looking like all of this is just one big hoax, and there's a lot of panic that really doesn't need to happen. While articles making this claim were spreading online everywhere, not as many people were seeing the official debunk from Al Jean. Yeah, that's right. If you didn't know, he's a writer, executive producer, and showrunner for The Simpsons, so what he says is pretty hard to argue with. We are all thankful the following article is not true. Now, obviously, since I don't work on the show, I can't officially confirm that The Simpsons will continue for more seasons, but I think I trust Al Jean more than the theme song's composer.
There you go. So one of the writers put that whole myth down and debunked the myth, saying that The Simpsons are not going away. The Danny Elfman kind of misspoke, I guess, in an article saying, I guess they're leaving. They haven't asked me to do anything lately or something like that. But one of the head writers, Al Jean, said, no, we're fine. It's just that, we're continuing dredging through and chugging along and chuckling along all in the same boat. Now, someone who's in a boat that they wish they could get out of is Corona. Now, Corona, no, I know exactly what you're thinking. Now, everyone out there is really, or has heard and is really getting kind of paranoid now because this coronavirus, which started in, I forget what town, there's a small town in China where they serve like live bat soup and goat puppies and stuff like that, and people eat it. They pay to eat these weird exotic items, and then if it's a thumbs up, then they'll put it on the menu. And it's kind of like when you pay to eat at the restaurants, you pay $50 and it's like the taste of all the restaurants in the area. China has something like that. I don't know if you pay $50 for it, but they put bats' heads in soup. Ozzy probably like that. Oh, poor Ozzy. But there's all these where they create these new desserts and designs and as far as food combinations. So they figured out that it started there in Wampoon, I think is the name of the town. I could be wrong, but don't quote me on that. And the corona itself is a type of virus. It's a big long word. It's kind of like THC, which is tetrahydro, whatever the long version is. Corona is like can I say crow one more time? Mexalaca corona something is the whole name. They just shorten it down to the corona, unfortunately. For the beer company, the beer company's taken a whole lot of backlash on it. When I say a whole lot of backlash, they're actually spotting, see if I can find the article here. They're actually offering $15 million to help change the coronavirus name to the Bud Light virus. That's right, Corona Extra, your favorite Mexican beer, is putting up $15 million just to change the coronavirus name to the Bud Light virus name. Executive at Constellations, which is the distributor, are thought to be incredibly concerned with the rising publicity of the deadly virus that has killed over 100 people. They have pledged initially $10 million to change the virus name literally to anything else, and then would further give the company another $5 million if they changed it to Bud Light virus. So why the new name change? Hey, you know what? Well, and this is the CEO, Bill Newlands, from Constellation, which is a distributor of Corona, says, well, for one thing, the Bud Light virus really rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Now, this is all tongue-in-cheek. And if you think about a disgusting virus that forces you to cover your nose and your mouth when you come in contact with it, you think of Bud Light. So we feel the new name is more apt for it. So he said, with his conversation, I mean, how many people have died from consuming too much alcohol? He added, probably no one. Too much, I guess that's kind of a broad brush to be painting there. He said, Bud Light, however, probably millions. The name doesn't have to be Bud Light virus, but he would also accept Miller Lite virus, Heineken virus, or any other thing, combination thereof. So there you go. It's just, Corona's taking a bad rap for this, so they're putting out their name has no in correlation with the coronavirus that's happening over China. And I guess I just read a news article the other day that it made its way over to Chicago. So be careful out there, people in the. I always get yelled at this. I always call it Illinois, but I always get yelled at as Illinois. I know, I understand that. When we come back, I put my Miller Lite virus case on the conveyor belt at Publix, and I got a little flack for it. So when we come back, I'll talk about that as well. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back.
You're listening to It's Like Getting a Boiling Hot Enema.
Deacon Live.
Deacon Live. From an obese, sweaty, bald guy. Every day.
Deacon Live. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you go over to ProphetRadio.com and click on the Real Deal section. And like our friends over there at Real American Deals, based out of Kansas City, Missouri, they bring you a whole bunch of deals on some books, some financial stuff, and some knickknack items and stuff as well. And make sure you like them on Facebook while you're there. Now, I'm having a hard time with cashiers, I guess. You know, I had the run-in. No, it wasn't a big run-in. She just made me feel uncomfortable. The run-in with the lady over at Walmart, returning my the light bulbs for my headlamps. I guess I should say headlamps is what they are. They're not light bulbs. I'm not a mechanic, so I just call them what they are. But they're headlamps from my Chevy Silverado, and they're expensive, so she gave me a little flack because I didn't have the receipt for them. Now, on the flip side of that, I went up to Publix. We do have a Publix here. It's the next town over, unfortunately, over on Indian Trail. But yes, we do have a Publix here, which is great. Went down there and did my shopping. I like their produce a lot better. My wife still doing the Whole30 thing, so I have to get all the special stuff at Publix that your local town killer doesn't carry. So I'm putting everything up on the conveyor belt. And of course, when you go to a shopping center, there's a pattern that you follow, right? Sometimes they bring you right into the produce, and from the produce down to the cereal aisle, and then the soup aisle, and then the vegetable aisle, and then what's after that? Chips and cracker and sodas, and then through your frozen food, your coolers and stuff, and then the milk and dairy is at the end of the aisle with the beer and stuff. Now, so when you unload your cart, you unload it backwards. So all the heavy items are going up on the thing, and then got to the point where all my produce is at the end. So I load the conveyor belt up, like anyone does. Any American would load the conveyor belt up this way. You put all your cans together, you put all your bottle stuff or stuff of the same height together, you put all your chemicals together, you try to keep all the chemicals together. You ever had the one lady that likes to pick and choose as she's checking out your groceries, literally checking out your groceries, and puts what she wants in the bag? Anyways, so one of the things that the cashier at Publix comes across, I've got a big bag of Monterey Colby Jack shredded cheese. Everyone gets them. I say everyone gets them. All you people out there get it, but you know what I'm talking about. First thing out of her mouth, I wasn't even listening to her. Now remember, I said it was raining outside and some snowflakes and stuff fell on the truck. She literally goes, "Is it chilly?" And I stopped and I go, and I'm looking, my brain had to do like a double take, because I'm like going, I'm looking what's in her hand, and I'm looking at her face, and she's waiting for an answer from me. So I look at her and I go, before I answer this question, ma'am, are you asking me temperature-wise or cooking-wise? And she looked at me like going, you're going to make chili, right? And I go, oh, no, I'm not making chili. She's like, oh, that's what I thought you bought all this cheese for. That was the only thing she had in her hand was the cheese. That was the first thing she grabbed and scanned. First thing that came to her mind was cheese. First thing that came to my mind, I just came out of the snow, getting into your store. Now, granted, she might not have been outside yet, but here's the cashier covered in a friggin' parka saying, no, it's snowing outside. And the cashier's like, what? Oh, no, I left my windows down. Well, lady, guess what? You're going to have a cold ass when you go home. So she's going through the stuff, and it's, I don't know if it's mandatory or they say that in Publix, the Publix meeting. Okay, everyone, listen up. Today we need to comment on everyone's food shopping. Make small talk. Don't get too personal. Don't bring political stuff into it. Don't do anything like that. I'm sure they go, okay, and everyone goes, break. Yes, let's go. Hit the floor, running. So the cashier comes out and, they go through their day and stuff, and they I'm sure they see it all the time. Well, of course they do. That's where they work. Why wouldn't they see it all the time? But the stuff's coming down the line, and I judge people, what they have in their cart. I always look at it and I go, okay, well, I wonder what they're making. Come on, don't tell me you don't do it. You don't look in other people's carts. The older I get, and the more judgmental I get, I know it's horrible to say, the more judgmental I get as far as what people put in their shopping carts. Because you look at for example, here's a prime example. You got a woman, female, with not a newborn baby, but a baby that can't walk, and maybe a 4-year-old, and he's pushing the little shopping cart around that says, customer in training or whatever it is. And she's trying to hold the baby in her hand, and you look in her cart, and what do you expect to see? You expect to see, like, formula, you expect to see juices, you expect to see things like that. You don't expect to see, like, a whole huge ham or cold cuts or, I don't know, canned soups. There's certain things that you expect to see in people's shopping carts. So as my food and items start coming down the conveyor belt, oh, Jesus, that scared the shit out of me. As my food and items and stuff start coming down the conveyor belt, again, I bought the Miller Lite virus, and I put it up there on the thing, and she's like, oh, are you ready for the big game? And I'm like, nah, I really don't get into football and all that stuff. And she's like, you don't get into football? No, I don't. I mean, I appreciate it and stuff. I don't get, well, what are you buying all this? She literally asked me, well, what are you buying all this stuff for? I said, lady, this is what we do. We go shopping once every week. I said, this is our supplies for a week. And as I'm saying that, she's ringing up like 2 cases of beer and all the soda and all the stuff that they had sales on. Now, granted, the sales and everything else, or the soda and everything else is going to last more than a week. But when I said that, and I just kind of went, shit. So she just kind of eyes, back into her head and, straightened up her neck like, well, all right, this is... And, she's sliding the salad down, the chopped up lettuce, and the cans of refried beans, and the cans of jalapenos and all this stuff. And, well, what are you making? My wife's making some new dish that she's doing. Leave me alone. So, I mean, I should not be allowed out in public. I've said that before. Now, some people that should not be allowed out in public are... I say they shouldn't be let out, but I can understand it. Have you ever noticed, like, guys, men, kind of relive their glory days? And what made me think about it was I was watching Rachel Ray this morning. I was trying to figure out, a new recipe. I like watching the Rachel Ray. I'm part of the Facebook Rachel Ray's recipes on Facebook. You had to be approved to get in there, which is kind of weird. You had to type in a little paragraph of why you want to be in there, which is kind of cool. And then she'd send you all these recipes every day, and you see pictures of what people make, in comparison of what Rachel Ray was getting on in. But today's show was the Super Bowl show, and they had 3. I'm watching it with the volume down while I'm doing other stuff at the same time, and they had 3 couples, and those couples were going to compete to actually getting a chance to go to the Rachel Ray quote unquote press box or whatever the thing that she was giving away, and they were going to make their own Super Bowl treat, and the best one wins. So there's these two gentlemen who look like they used to play football. There's a guy and his mom, and the guy looked like he played football. And they're all the average age, between the men and stuff, probably 40, 45. And then there's a husband and wife team. And it looked like he played football. I mean, he was a big guy, and they're doing all this stuff. And they're, their chest bumping, and they're, woo, 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 making all the noise. And Rachel Ray during the whole entire show was like going, can you guys just shut up? We're trying to, because they're cooking while the show's going on, while Rachel Ray's trying to do her show, and they're off in the side wings trying to cook. So, I mean, but you don't see women doing that. You don't see women reliving their glory days. Now, you could tell these guys probably played football at one time, and they're, high-fiving and, Chuck Pumpin and all the, I never played sports or anything. I take that back, and we'll get into that later. And, you know, they're high-fiving and elbow crunching and knee pushing and wiggling and stuff. Anyway, so they were, you know, reliving their high school or college or whatever they were sports. Now, women don't do it as much as, in my opinion, I don't see the women going, you know, what kind of sports did you play in school? Oh, I played volleyball. Oh, okay, volleyball. So do you watch any volleyball sports? No. The only time that you see women harping about their past is if they have a daughter that is following in their footsteps as far as playing, either, whether it be golf, and I'm not picking the, I almost said pussy sports. Well, there's no women football teams. So, I mean, it's a lighter, less contact sports. Let's put it that way. You got women that play softball. Most of them don't have kids. God, where am I going with this? Oh, here's a prime example. My wife's mom used to ride horses. Somewhat, not professionally, but I mean, somewhat in competitions and stuff. So my wife has taken that banner and run with it. She rides horses, not for like professionally, but she rides in competitions and stuff. And she has done, you know, where you get trophies, you get ribbons, you get plaques, you get certificates that you've achieved these certain levels and stuff. And I understand that. But they don't, I mean, they literally just stand around and tell stories. As to where guys stand around and go, pum, 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 boo, ah! Don't record that anywhere. So I came across an article that actually kind of explains, whoops, sorry. Actually kind of explains a little bit why men and women celebrate or don't celebrate, or lack thereof celebration, during the glory days. And here's what the article says. It means technically that you don't have closure and you haven't been completely healed from all the wounds from their past. Guy is talking about anyone who celebrates past glory days. So even if there's females out there that go, remember the time we did this? Woo! It still lives and breathes in them and follows wherever they go. They're looking for reassurance, validations, someone to acknowledge that their pain, their hurt, their torment, and most of us, all kinds of us, that doesn't make sense. Basically, we just want a listening ear for those who are going through their glory days. We don't need to grandstand the words. They just need to be specified as far as we understand what you went through. It's kind of a bonding thing. And they're not letting it go. They didn't realize. They want someone to actually listen to them, to empathize with them. And that's where the practice of reliving your glory days comes out. It can be retiring for the receiver to listen to the stories of rehashing and repeating each time you meet up with a particular person. For example, really consider yourself as their friend and tell them it's time to move on and get over it. And it's time for them to decide to ignore the trauma and continue on with their life. But such a deep but such a deep lasting impact in this grip is unshakable, and such as losing a child, experiencing abuse as some kind of abuse as a child, abandoned parent and child, etc., etc., etc. So what they're saying is that even women, not necessarily the sports, but there any kind of drama, anytime you relive your glory days, that you're just looking for a connection with someone who has the same experience, the same stuff that you've gone through. Now, I guess that's my problem. That's why I was like going, what are these guys talking about? They're, fist pumping and punching each other and, yeah. I never played football. I don't know what that experience is like. So that's why I have a hard time connecting with them. So that's why, just my observation, but just to let you know, when you see that, if you're someone like me that just doesn't connect with that kind of act, that kind of demonstration, just understand they're just looking for someone who understands what the male or female understands what they went through, and they're just looking for a way to connect and say, I was hurt, you were hurt, well, I love you, man, I love you too. And that's why they all cry and hug. When we come back, speaking of crying and hugging, we've lost a very important person this past week, and it's a terrible thing. But there are some people that say that we all live on a certain path, and a lot of numerology and a numerologist has determined that our life is planned out for us. So stick around. I'll get into that here in just one sec. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back.
Press 1 now. Press 1 now. All continue.
You're listening to
Deacon Live.
Deacon Live. Deacon Live.
Again, press 1 now. Press 1 now.
Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all our social networks and stuff. And the way you do that is go to Prophet Radio, PROPHET radio.com. And you'll see all our links and stuff for our social networks. Make sure you go over to the Real Deals section, and you can see all the stuff that is offered through the Real American Deals, located on Facebook, and they've got some great stuff up there at discounted prices and information books, how-to guides, actual items that you can buy. And one of the items I think they have up there for sale are beer mittens. And if you're not familiar with beer mittens, here comes the text messages, and you can text us at 407-448-8800 as well. And beer mittens is basically mittens that go around your hands, that hold a beer like a koozie at the same time. So it's kind of this weird cup holder type thing that your fingers can't move. So once they're on, they're on. And that's at Real American Deals, located on Facebook as well. Now, numerology, we lost an athlete way too early, and Kobe Bryant passed away in a helicopter crash. Hold on one second. Unfortunately, he was involved in a helicopter crash. Him and 7 others and his daughter, his 13-year-old daughter, they all passed away. And I'm not telling you anything new. This is it's been all over the news and stuff. So yeah, we've lost Kobe Bryant. He was retired. I forget what his number is. Like I said, I don't follow sports a whole lot, but there was an article out there where actually there's a way of thinking out there that says that all paths are chosen and already created even before we're born, even before this earth existed, the stars and everything. There's this Tesla came up with, you're familiar with that guy, right? Tesla came up with, there's a, I forget what the actual theory is called, but where he could tap on, let's say an iron bridge or a bridge, any length of bridge. He could tap on it with a certain rhythm and find out the rhythm of that bridge, and within a couple seconds, if he could figure out the rhythm of that bridge, he could make that whole bridge twist and wobble at any given time. Now, the Nazis actually were trying to come up or steal this idea from Tesla, but everything has a vibration, everything has a rhythm, and he says that the stars and the alignment and everything, we are connected by a certain way through this rhythm, this what they call numerology. So the numerology, if you're not too familiar with it, I found this video that kind of explains it a little bit. So here you go.
Numerology, and how does numerology work? Often associated with astrology, numerology is the belief in the divine, mystical, and special relationship between numbers and events in the real world. Those that study numerology study the symbolism of numbers. It is often used to determine particular characteristics about a certain person, including their personality, strengths, talents, inner needs, and emotional reactions. Numerology is not a new phenomenon. The relationship between numbers and coinciding events has been noted for thousands of years. Indeed, numerology's history stretches all the way back to ancient Egypt and Babylonia. The field was first formally organized by a well-known mathematician, Pythagoras, about 26,000 years ago in ancient Greece. Since its beginning, numerology has constantly evolved, slowly becoming the modern field of study that it is today. To the outside observer, numerology can at first seem quite strange and difficult to understand, yet it is based on fairly simple principles.
All right,
These include the fact that the universe vibrates at its own particular frequency. You can use the principles of numerology to find the vibration rate of any given object, including people. This is how numerology works to ascertain significant information about an individual's personality and overall character.
So there you go. That's essentially what I was saying about Tesla. He came up with everyone's got their own frequency, and if you could figure out that frequency, then you can control that object's I don't know, existence or something like that. Excuse me. So then, with that being said, I came across this article that actually, through a numerologist, came up with the why Kobe Bryant died. Now, for those of you who, I know, this is a far stretch, but the only thing I can relate this to is there's that whole controversy or comparison between John F. Kennedy dying and Abraham Lincoln dying. And, you know, it's one of those things where Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln. Lincoln was shot at the Kennedy Center. You know, that type stuff. Everyone's name's got 7 letters, and the way that look it up. It's a very interesting read. Kind of, I mean, it's grasping at straws, but I mean, it's somewhat part of what numerology is. And search Kennedy versus Lincoln dying and stuff. So here's the article that I came across with Kobe Bryant. Now I'll read a little bit of this to you. If I lose you, bear with me. It's only a couple seconds long. So here you go. Kobe Bryant was passed away at 41. His daughter passed away at 13. 41 and 13 are both prime numbers. 13 and 41 add up to 54. Super Bowl 54 is next Sunday, February 2nd, which is the 33rd day of the year, which is a very powerful Illuminati number. Kobe Bryant equals 41 in numerology. The date of numerology of the crash was 1/26/20, which all equals 47. The helicopter's official crash was at 9:47. The Lakers were founded in 1947. Kobe's jersey was 24. LeBron James' jersey is 23. I don't know why he just jumped into here. You could pick anyone's jersey. 24 and 23 equal 47. America was founded by Freemasons on the 4th of the 7th month of the year. All professional sports were founded and created by Freemasons who just so happened to be obsessed with numbers, numerology, and geometrically, especially the number 47. All right, so here we go. Your name through the alphabet, what they call a gematria, like A equals 1 and Z equals 26. So the numbers in Gianna Bryant equals 126. They all died on 126. LeBron James passed Kobe in the score. I mean, it's really, really reaching. Passed the scoring with a total of 126 in the Philadelphia, which is Kobe's home city. His death just happened to be on the day of the Grammy Awards at the Staples Center in the home of the LA Lakers and Kobe. So, I mean, you can read anything. I'm going to put this over here. If anyone wants to read it later. But so numerology, it's an interesting read. Sometimes it's kind of out there. It's kind of, grasping at straws. You could say anything as far as trying to make numbers match. You can make anything match together. One guy that's not making things match together is the gentleman who had, he was appearing actually here where the Hornets play. And this comedian, where's he at? So this comedian got into some hot water literally the day after Kobe Bryant passed away in the helicopter crash. And he's standing out front of the Queen City studio, or not the Queen City studio, that'd be stupid. He's standing outside of the Charlotte Hornets arena. And this is the joke that he had to say. Now, just take this in. It's kind of Is it tasteless? Is it not tasteless? And I'll get into that here after the video when it's played. So here you go. Listen to this. This is, let's see what his name is. His name's Ari Sharif, or I'm sorry, Sheffer, Schaefer, Shaffir. Ari, A-R-I, Schaefer was scheduled to do stand-up in New York City Comedy Club on Tuesday night at 9:15, but the club was forced to call the cops after getting multiple phone call threats. Now, this is the thing that he did right outside the Charlotte Hornets arena before, I guess, doing a show and then going to New York. So here you go, listen to this.
I know there's always a lot of hate, pain in the world, and there's always a bunch of terrible stories. And every once in a while, there's a good story. A good story comes out. The guy who got away with rape got his today. Kobe Bryant is gone. I'm here in Charlotte, the home of the team that originally drafted him. Maybe he wouldn't have raped that chick in Denver if he had stayed in Charlotte with the Hornets.
So if you missed it with all the background and stuff, he said, Kobe Bryant's gone. Yeah, he's gone. A guy who got away with rape, who was drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, who traded him to L.A., if he is gone, he's dead, and he got away with rape. And I guess if he would have stayed in Charlotte, he would have never raped the girl in L.A. I mean, it's a very, very tasteless joke. Very, very tasteless joke. But yeah, that's I'm not going to give his name again. I don't want him to. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give his name again because I feel that was kind of tasteless. His name is Ari, A-R-I. Last name Shifffer. That's his name. So that was a comedian who was banned from a New York club just moments after, or just the next day after giving that little speech out. Now I had a joke. Now it's not a joke. There's a lot of memes that go around and stuff, and I found out that L.A. out in California was going to name a road after Kobe Bryant, which is great. And people pass away. There's a Martin Luther King drive on wherever he put foot on pavement throughout the whole entire eastern coast. There's a road named after Martin Luther King. So by all means, I mean, we got dead people's names all over the roads here in the Queen City, I almost said studio again, in the Queen City. So they said that we're going to name a road after Kobe Bryant. And I just kind of meant, I said, that's great. I said, that's great. I said, the only thing is that it'll be a double yellow line down the center of the thing. So anyway, so if you're a driving professional, you'll get that joke. And if you're a sports fan, it's funny on a couple different levels, but there's nothing about him being dead. It's just about what they're doing with the road. All right, I know. When we come back, I'm going to get into some more of my opinions as far as movies and trailers and stuff that we watch. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Thanks for staying with us. We'll do a couple more things, and then we'll wrap up the show and let you go. I want to get into I'd like to thank our sponsor, Real American Deals, located on Facebook. And you can click on them, like them on the Facebook page, and you can see all the great deals that they got going on. Small little company out of Kansas City, Missouri. They got some great stuff over there. So that's Real American Deals, located on Facebook as well. That's their store. They don't have a website yet. They're working on that. It takes a lot of effort for a small company to start out and to make it big with all the big conglomerates out there that are pushing everyone down. Now, I have watched a bunch of movies, a bunch of shows, and I'm going to do my little entertainment review on what you should be watching or what I've been watching. So sticking with the sports theme and Super Bowl, I actually watched, do I have? No, I don't. Well, here it is right here. Speaking with the sports shows or the sport theme and stuff, I've watched this show right here while on the treadmill, and it's very interesting. Over so 1 hour, for it right now. Hour and 15, as far as what happened with Aaron Hernandez. And if you don't know, he was a football player and was accused of killing one gentleman, and then I won't give it away at the end if you don't know what it is, and that's what's it called? Killer Inside, the mind of Aaron Hernandez, and it has to deal with football and on the Super Bowl theme that we were doing here for a minute ago. All right, so I know I'm getting crazy with this. One episode or one thing that I have been watching, it's slow going. I like it. I like it a lot. Season 3's coming out. I watched the first 2 seasons, and I was missing that Breaking Bad, that, not for nothing, I couldn't tell you what's playing on regular TV right now, because streaming services have really, really stepped up their game across the board. Netflix led the whole champ, and then Hulu's got a whole bunch of stuff. Amazon Prime's coming out. They're really, really throwing a whole lot of money out there. They're not using the formula like I was talking about classic rock stations. If it achieves this and, people want to see this, people want to see this, and let's, throw a dart at the board and hit these 3 topics and make a show on that. No, these are people who actually got smart and got thinking, and they're hiring great directors, they're hiring great writers, great screenplay, all the stuff, great characters as well. They're bringing big names in all these streaming services and streaming shows. This is one that I just finished up, and season 3 is starting on March 27th, and it's this show right here.
People make choices, Wendy. We don't have to live under the weight of those decisions.
At least admit it was good for us.
We passed upon the stair. Spoke of wasn't when, although I wasn't there.
Essentially what he is he is a money launderer, and he's very smart because he's a tax attorney, he's a financial advisor and stuff, so he knows all about the laws. Now, speaking of Page Turner, this show, this movie, actually, this is in the theaters right now. If it's not in theaters right now, it just came out on DVD. I watched. I'm kind of, I don't know. I'll let you listen to the trailer, and I'll tell you what I think about it and feel about it here. Everything's got that same one-note starter.
Can you please stop bothering my kid?
Sorry.
Arthur, I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts?
When we come back, we'll wrap up the show and we'll let you get back to what you got to do. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. All right. Oh, what was I going to pull up? Oh, car inspections. Forgot I was doing a show here. Got carried away. All right, here we go. Coming back. Welcome back. Make sure you follow us on our Facebook and our social networks. And the way you do that is go to prophetradio.com and click on all the contacts and stuff that are there. Make sure you go to Real Deal section, see all the stuff that's going on there at the Real American Deals, and make sure you like them on Facebook as well. So I'm getting ready to go to get my car inspected now. Now I get the light bulbs all changed and swapped out. I've got all the headlights and everything working, which is crazy. I never had to do that in Florida. You could have a busted windshield in Florida. They'll fix it for free, but you could have no lights, no tail lights, no nothing, and they'll give you registration and stuff. So, and there's, what I found the list. There are 1, 2, 3. Here's the states that don't involve. I wouldn't live in these states. Actually, one of them I came from. These states have no vehicle inspection whatsoever. That's Alaska, which I guess that makes sense. Arkansas, Iowa, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, North Dakota, not South Dakota. Oh yeah, sorry. North Dakota, South Carolina, South Dakota, Florida, and Wyoming are the only states that absolutely have no vehicle inspection whatsoever. There's about 20 some odd out there that have safety inspection. That's turn signals, high beams, low beams, brakes, and all that stuff, which those are the good states to have. But then there's the one that have the emissions test, and those are the ones that are out the hippie places out there on the West Coast. And what was I making with all the stuff on the Publix conveyor belt? Well, you know what? My wife and I decided to do a 7-layer dip. So that's why I had all the crazy stuff on the conveyor belt there. And she was trying to piece it all together and figure out what I was making, what I was buying for. It's kind of like, you know, I always think that too. When I look in someone's car, I'm like, oh, okay, they got a stack of meat, they got all that stuff. So yeah, my wife, I wanted a 7-layer dip. I saw something on Rachel Ray. So we're going to make this very basic, very plain, our spin on a 7-layer dip for the Super Bowl. Yes, I'm going to watch the Super Bowl. It's been a while since I've watched a Super Bowl before, but we've got that big theater room, and I want to see the big game on the big screen TV. All right, I'm going to let you guys go. On behalf of everyone that supported us here at Deacon Live, all those that follow us through our social networks, all those people that have emailed me, I thank you very much. On behalf of our listeners out there and you, my name is the Deacon saying good night and good night.
Boo! 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 Boo!
Oh no. Wait! Come back!
This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.